Hi guys, so today we are going to replace a zipper in a pair of men's trousers. So you can use a razor blade, snippers or an unpicker. I personally prefer to use the blade because it's just the quickest for me. So go ahead and unpick the zip completely. Just one small tip, before you start to unpick anything, just take a moment to look at the original. Just memorize how it was done. This goes for anything that you might be altering or repairing. Before you start to pull anything apart, just take a moment to memorize the original way it's been done. So the next step is to insert the new zipper. I have deliberately used a contrasting colored zip and thread just to make it clearer. Ignore the length of the zip. It is much longer than the original, but we will attend to that a little bit later, and I'll show you how to cut it to the right length. So first step is to stitch the zipper to the front part of the trousers. One important point here is to make sure that you place your zipper stop above the point where you're going to be doing a top stitch afterwards. If you place that metal stop right underneath where you're going to do the top stitch, you will basically break your needle straight away. So pin the zipper in place. Line it up straight, and you're just basically going to stitch as per the following. So the next step is to cut shorter the side of the zip that you have stitched. You want to leave about 2 centimeters allowance or longer than what it actually should be, and tuck it inside the waistband. It's not going to be visible, it's going to go inside, and it obviously secures it that it's not going to pull out at any minute. Then you want to finish that with a top stitch just to secure it a little bit more, following by closing the actual waistband. Please remember to cut all the loose threads. It just helps keep everything neat and tidy. Now next step is to do the top stitching. You will need to pin up the other half of the zip that you haven't stitched yet. Just pin it up out of the way from where you're going to do the top stitching. And we are done with this side, so we are about to move on to the other side. First thing you will need to do is measure the length of the zip on the other side, mark it with a chalk, unzip it, you can cut off the excess, and this part is quite easy. You just have to make sure that you have everything lined up and straight, and you're basically just going to do one straight stitch to secure everything in place. Line up the finished length of the zip with the bottom of your waistband and put a pin in just to keep that in place. I also like to do the button up as well, just to straighten it all up. So just make sure there's no excess fabric caught underneath. All you want is basically the zip shield to be under, the zip and the top fabric, and you're going to stitch those three together. Now we're going to do a top stitch. Usually you would use the same color thread as the garment, but in my case I've used a contrasting color just to make it easier to see. But obviously with the same color thread it would be a lot less visible. Check that everything is aligned and straight. Check your buttonhole, button, the waistband, make sure that it's all even. Sometimes the foot can push the fabric, in which case you will need to unpick it and do it again. So what I've done here is just done a little stitch down at the bottom where there was a small gap. You will need to now stitch that zip shield to the other part of the other side of the trouser, and stitch that bottom to the inseam as well, so it's not flapping loose like that. And our last step is to just do a couple more stitches at the bottom of that zip, just to reinforce and strengthen the area. It's very common for it to come undone. So just a couple of stitches, double check that everything is aligned, straight, you're happy with everything, no loose threads, and you are done. Well done, guys. Till next time.